the Adlerian approach was really built on this notion of giving people courage. And if people have courage, then they can change their lot in life. And it's really interesting that we've done some outcome research in psychotherapy, and the outcome research says the most important variable in outcome research, which accounts for some like 40% of the change, is hope. That we as therapists give our clients hope. And that's what encouragement does. It gives parents and it gives children hope that things could be different. And usually, though, we say we're going to praise kids, but in order to praise kids, they have to be praiseworthy. And when you're worthy of praise, you don't need it, because you know you're doing something right. So what we try to do is to catch kids along the way when they're starting out into making some effort and some movement.
Sounds like you're also accentuating the positive and focusing on some of those things.
You really attempt to do that. You know, one of my favorite stories was of a young girl who came up to me and said, Dr. Carlson, look at my paper. And I looked at her paper, and she had every word spelled wrong on it. And I said, boy, you know, how do you practice this encouragement stuff? And I looked at it and I said, you know, Noreen, I really like your paper. I said, the margins are so nice and neat. You've got everything right here in this nice block, and each one of your letters is formed correctly. And she said, thank you, Dr. Carlson. Next, I'm going to work on my spelling. And then she fled off, feeling like she was somewhere. And that's what encouragement does, is it gives people feeling like you're somewhere, you're on the way.
Now we're going to be moving into a broader situation where you are working with a group of parents of teenagers. So I wonder whether you would set the stage for this group encounter.
Yeah, the groups are a lot of fun. It's nice to note that when this group ended and we went home, the group kept going. The groups like this, once you get them started, if the consultant uses the skills I'm going to talk about, the group becomes so engaged with one another. The first thing consultants need to do in leading a group like this is to structure the group, to make the group very clear what our purposes are, what we're going to do, what we're not going to do. In this, everybody in the group brought a problem that they wanted to work on. So there's no freeloaders. Everybody came there wanting to do something.
But you also find out who they are and what their children are, so you can kind of get a picture of the wisdom of the ages that you have within the group to focus on.
And the purpose of doing that is to let everyone know that everyone brings something that they have to offer. The purpose of the group is not for me to solve their problems, but for them to help one another, to use their years of experience. So structuring is one. Linking was another one. When I go around the group, I try to pull the group members together to talk about commonalities that they might have, whether it's commonalities in the way they see things or maybe in the ages of their children. But the purpose is linking. Another is universalizing by asking questions, has anyone had this problem or similar problems? And so everyone feels not alone, like I'm not the only one.
So you search for answers within the group, but then you also come back to your own expertise and ideas, possibly seeing what they come up with, and if they don't come up with some things that you would want them to leave with, well, then you would bring that up.
But all done tentatively. If you throw something out, it's done out in such a way, what would happen is, have you considered doing this? Rather than telling people what to do, you put it out there and they can either take it or reject it.
So it's a possibility. Could you or would you consider this?
Yeah. And then another is you try to get the people to encourage one another, to help one another. And finally, it's always important in a group to allow time at the end to summarize and to find out what they learned and what they're going to do differently. So that when people leave the group, they feel like it was a positive experience. You know, they come home and their husbands or wives said, what happened tonight? Did you learn anything? And they say, yes, I learned this, I learned this, I learned this. So they really feel like this has been a good use of their 45 minutes.
So it's what they carry away then, is what they're going to do.
Exactly.
Instead of what they're going to just try.
And so I'd really urge our viewers to watch the group skills that are used and to watch how it brings out this social interest in the group members to want to help one another.
The commonality of the concerns, and then asking them to come up with some solutions, and then perhaps you may come in with a few of your own, but then and then summarize it, pull it all together, and they leave with some ideas. They each learn something, but yet they learn about themselves, and also spectator therapy. They learn from hearing what the others' concerns are, and
they watch other people solve problems that they either have had or in one case are going to be having.
Okay, we'll look forward to seeing you work with this group of parents.
Good.